Hello, investors. It's Connor Bates, Associate Portfolio Manager with Revere Asset Management. Today is Friday, September 5th, about 4:20 p.m. Eastern Time, coming to you with tonight's Revere Roundup Daily Market Insight video. Market state still in an uptrend since those subsequent follow-through days. Take a look, trend gauge over here. Market leader is still neutral with that sub-green arrow as it's been a very choppy couple of weeks and it's hit or miss in terms of the names. Got to pick the right names for every winner. There's a loser and there's just not full broad easy penny environment from the leaders right now, but nevertheless, still on balance, most are looking good, just has gotten a little bit more choppy. Short term, still closing above that 21 EMA across the board. Medium term, above the 50-day moving average as well, and long term, above the 200-day moving average. What happened today? So big reversal on NFPs, closed mildly with some RS and Rust 2000 and some of these rate cut sensitive names. And really, bottom line is the September chop continues. The August non-farm payrolls came in at 22,000 versus 78,000 consensus, and initially the market was gapping up on that. And really the takeaway from the market was the report wasn't great economically speaking, but it fortified the market's belief that there's going to be a rate cut at the September FOMC, and it's hope that there will be additional rate cuts at the October and December FOMC meetings. And it's just a view that it's supportive for a market for rate cuts. And the high was put in within the first 5 minutes, pretty harsh sell, and then kind of found some footing and closed mid-range into the end of the day. So and the market's fully priced in a 25 basis point rate September cut with a 14% chance of a 50 point one, according to the CME FedWatch tool. Here are the final numbers. 21 over 21 list was up 1.05% today. 15 green, 6 red. Turbo 12 had a heck of a day, up 3.6%. 11 green, 1 neutral. And Big 8 down 0.3, RG8 up 0.39, S&P down 0.32%, Equal 8 up 0.12, Qs up 0.14%, Equal 8 up 0.09%, Dow Jones Industrial Average down 0.45%, mid caps up 0.47, Russell 2000 up 0.5, 60/40 stock and bond up 0.12%, flagship portfolio GROTECTION flat on the day down 0.11%, TurboTaxion up 0.76% on the day. Let's get into the interasset correlation, and we'll start with S&P 500. And the closing bar looks fine, but we'll take a look at the intraday, and you can see the volatility. We gapped up, put the highs within the first 5 minutes, and then it was very aggressive selling. Found support. Kind of built in higher low, rallied up into the close, and just look at the 60-minute. Just total chop fest, and that fits theme. September's historically choppy, tough. When things look good, they just come straight back down, and then when things start to look bad, they just come straight up, and that's just a function of the market. September chop, and this is the environment that we're in. But zooming out, still holding above the 8 and the 21 EMA. Daily chart looks totally constructive. Just this is what you see in basing periods. Essentially haven't really gone anywhere since the beginning of August. And so really watch this 6,500 level for a breakout, and then the shorter term moving averages, some support zones here as well. RSP again, see if this can break out next week through this 190 level area. Close back above that 188.16 pivot, and this still looks like a good chart. Qs, building a base here. You can see kind of VCP-ish look, trying to get through the downtrend line, closed up on the day, but again, similar to S&P 500, was up more, harsh sell-off, closed mid-range, very, very choppy action. Mag 7 continuing higher, looks good at the highs. Dow Jones Industrial Average looks good, basing under little pivot there. Mid caps, this is where the RS has been, and right here you can see it. It's continuously outperformance in mid caps, which is great for the market, and this one closed up 0.5% on the day. Rust 2000 as well. You can see this RS line just been nice. 2400 is where it's pausing. So, maybe this gets tight under this 2400 for a move higher, but I've talked about this many times. The monthly, the weekly patterns look fantastic on the Rust 2000 and see if it can fall through. Still below 2021 highs. But again, I did a pretty good segment on the podcast today about using the RS line with this 21 EMA to help you spot where money's flowing, where you want to be. And this is just perfect example. Around here is when it started showing RS, and this has continued. So the expectation is for the Rust 2000 to continue to outperform, and any pullbacks can be opportunities. ARC getting super tight, got a downtrend line here from the highs. This potentially looks poised for a breakout next week, getting tight. See what way it decides to move. FFTY closed up on the day, so again, there was a handful of leaders that were acting pretty good today. Just a few of the big names are down, some others, but this is continuing higher, and this looks good. VIX was up a little bit today as the market, shot up 17, rejected, came back down, and again, still living under that 16 spot. So that's good to see. The dollar potentially wedge break here below, just continues to be in a downtrend. Gold continuing higher. GDX as well. And another point is the RS line with the 21 is this was a perfect breakout entry here. And that coincided right when the RS line got back above the 21. And we can see the move that it's had. And because before in the space, right, just, in a basing period, the RS line just kind of goes flat. And then on that breakout, you got that break. And gold's been a great place to be in the market as of lately. Silver as well, acting well, kind of following in gold's footsteps. Bitcoin was gapping up nicely this morning. Looked like it was going to put in a UNR and then got rejected at the 50-day, closed mid-range up just under 2%. And just a function of a choppy market is something can look good at 9:45 and then by 11:35 it could be a huge bearish engulfing candle looking like it's going to break down. And that's what you tend to see in the choppy market. Just your buys can flip so fast because we follow price at Revere, and in the choppy volatile market, that price is changing, and the candle on the daily chart can switch in a blink of an eye. Bonds continuing higher, TLT as well. Big gap up above the 200-day moving average, something to watch moving forward, and that coincides with big downside move in the rates, and that's why you saw the outperformance in small caps and some of the other rate-sensitive sectors. TNX as well, just kind of big breakdown here, so something to watch moving forward. All right, that's the inter-asset correlation. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape. Percent of stocks by the 5-day moving average at 47. I talked about the news. NFP report was obviously the big one, and I covered that. Today's keys: S&P closed above the 8 and the 21. Qs closed above the 21, below all-time highs. Russell 2000 holding above the 8. Going into Monday, I will add and all-time highs in the S&P 500. 6,500 is another one. Qs watch the same thing, and then Russ 2000, the 8 and that 2,400 level. Consolidation day today, 2 days above the 8, 3 days above the 21 EMA. And let's see, sectors wise, ITB, this is home builders, fantastic day. Biotech, another rate sensitive sector. Gold, Bitcoin, semiconductors, uranium all up on the day. And then the weakness, energy, financials, oil, regional banks, and utilities. GROTECTION today, sold MP and then trimmed HUD and NVIDIA. RVAB 1.14 minus 4.99% balance at risk. TurboTaction, we took an offensive trim in now, which is the 3 times homebuilder ETF, and then added on to the BABA position. 1.61 beta minus 4.56% balance at risk. Bottom line, gap up and fade on NFP numbers. September chop continues. Let's get in some charts of interest. Protection, trimmed HUD, just relative weakness lately, and this is probably just going into build a base. Did close below the 50-day moving average, but again, perhaps this just needs some time. I talked about Hood in the podcast. If you kind of want my analysis on this chart. It's a lot more in detail. And then also GROTECTION trimmed NVIDIA, right? Another close below the 50-day moving average. Starting to show a little less RS. And again, something to watch. But, you had Avgo closed the day up 9% on earnings, was up a lot more. And then, other semiconductors are acting well. So just kind of a mixed bag. Like, some of these other AI names like CRDO, CLS, you can see really nice moves. And then another semiconductor that's been weak, just mixed bag, AMD, really ugly close below the 50-day moving average also. So something to watch, TurboTaction. We took an offensive trim on nail. I'll just show that. You can see 3 days up in a row into this 100 spot, but we use just the ETF, right? Um, there's been a ton of relative strength in home builders. I'll circle back to that, like Toll Brothers, KBH, Lennar, PHM, Pulte, right? Really awesome moves. And just, homeowners making strong moves, weak jobs data spurs the hope for rate cuts. And that's what we're seeing. Took an offensive trim on here. It's getting a little bit short term extended, but this trade still feels alive and well. And they're just coming out of big bases. And then Turbo, I added on to Baba. Had a strong earnings gap, put it in day two higher high, was waiting for an opportunity, and I took a starter on the fourth, and then I added onto it today as it started to hook back up. This one still looks great to me. It's got an awesome monthly pattern and a great stage one weekly base, and see how this one works out. So those are the trades today. Let's take a look at the 21 over 21 list. CRDO continues to be one of the best growth stories in the market right now. Another new high. BE, another one. Own this in TurboTaction. This has just been beast of a stock, to say the least, and just continuing higher. Major RS as well. Reddit, really nice close here. This has been shaking people out in this range. Looks like it's going to break out, pulls back, and then broke out, closed near the lows, and then falling through. So in this environment, much better buying on weakness versus strength, but not buying falling knives, but buying pullbacks in uptrends if you have good level to risk on. But Reddit looks really good, clear leader in the market right now. GDX covered that one. STX, the computer data storage stocks are pretty incredible. 4 days up in a row, just did not budge at all when the market pulled back. So you have STX, you have Western Digital's another one. This SanDisk, another one joining the party. Kind of two huge days on huge volume, and then Micron's another one to watch out for, starting to come out of this cup and handle base a little bit. So that's one of the best spots right now, and perhaps some of NVIDIA money is flowing over here. Net, really good action, consolidating at the highs. Tempest, this one looks great. Took position in Turbo off the 21-day this week, and this one looks like it potentially wants to break out of a big monthly, weekly IPO base medical AI name. Astera Labs, great action on this one as well, kind of starting to clear the downtrend line, and this has been one of the best acting semiconductor stocks, great RS through this earnings gap, and it's been consolidating since the earnings gap, so perhaps wants to make a run, 200 Livermore above. Snowflake, nice undercut and reclaim a gap day lows, like how this one's acting. First Solar, another sector that should benefit from rate cuts, holding above that 200 level. ANET continuing higher out of this post earnings flag. C Limited, really good action post earnings. Valero trying to potentially break out of this cut base. SoFi continues to get supported at the 21-day. MongoDB, good post earnings action. Carvana just in the big base. Take Two, another one that's in the base here. Boeing sitting right at the 50-day. Futu tried to break out through this pivot, closing near the lows. APP, really good strong action after this day, continue to ride higher. And then Celsius sitting right at the 21-day. Turbo 12, heck of a day for a lot of these names. Unity, not a lot of people talk about this name, but it's got a big stage one base, breaking out through this 40 level. Really nice volume today, up almost 10%. Wayfair in this, kind of home furnishing industry group, 4 strong days, another one that tends to rally on rate cuts. Rocket Lab, again, this is a good example of choppy. Like a lot of people that tried this breakout here got absolutely stuffed, and now it's up 6% after holding the 50-day. Another example of in a choppy market, it's better to buy weakness than strength. And that all comes down to having rules, having a playbook, having a market filter. It's exactly why we have the trend gauge analyzing 3 different time frames and leading stocks and understanding where you're at and kind of tweaking entry tactics for the environment. The M in CANSOM is market, and a market can still go up and not be friendly to breakout buying. So kind of what we're in right now. CRDO, covered that one. BE again in the 21. PAS, this is a gold silver miner, really strong action. KTOS, undercut and reclaim of the 21-day. Got a downtrend line here from the highs. Covered Tempest AI as well. WGS continues to grind higher here. SEDG, another solar that perhaps benefits from rate cuts. PSTG. So this had a short report the other day. I believe it was from Carisdale, and this one just got bought up immediately. And this is just forming a really nice post-earnings flag here. And then Irene sitting right at the 8 EMA as well. So all in all, looking at the leaders, a lot of them are acting quite well. Another ETF I wanted to show is IWO. This is the Russell 2000 Growth ETF. And this one, again, has a huge cup and base. So, I'm very optimistic, right? IWM's below 2021 highs, and it's just starting to show relative strength. So if this breaks out through this huge pattern and starts to trend into all-time highs, that will be quite positive for the market. And some other leaders I want to talk about. So Hood's one that led off the April lows. That's just meandering around the 50-day. You have Palantir. This is another one that's, kind of bear flagging at the 50-day, but maybe just going into a base building period. Then you also have GV that's kind of bear flagging below the 50-day moving average. So seeing rotation in the market, and it's our job to find that. And that's what, we're seeing with home builders have been acting really well. And just some new merchandise like many of the names in the Turbo 12 and the 21 over 21 list, like Tempest, A-Lab, Bloom Energy. So um, never getting too in love with the story if price starts to tell you're wrong. But, continue to see rotation in the market, very choppy. Don't expect it to change anytime soon. For now, as September historically is a weak month, but for now, a lot of leaders close quite nice. Full week next week. So as always, we're just going to take it day by day and see what the market gives us. So that is all I got for today. You guys can always reach out to us. Email me at connor@revereasset.com. Also, you can reach out to Dan or Don at revereasset.com. You can find me on Twitter at ConnorJBates _, and then you can always call us at 855 Real Wealth, 855-732-5932. And if you're ever interested in becoming a client, as always, please reach out. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you have an awesome weekend. If you enjoyed it, give it a like, subscribe, comment, share. So thanks again, and see you guys next week.